I'm just going to go through this morning on doing a basic conventional cut on a client. The three key things to consider when we are starting to prepare is sterilisation and maintenance of equipment. The most effective method of sterilisation now used in barbering and in hairdressing is the barbicide. These are sterilised within the first 3 to 5 minutes of being put into the flask, the combs. It's really important that all equipment is sterilised before and every new client. Equipment is really essential. Quick and easy methods of sterilising equipment these days before starting a client is again clippercide spray, same manufacturers that make barbicide. Simply spray in the scissors, remove the hair from the scissor, and also from the razor. This shows good client care, and it really is essential that you get into the habit of doing this every single time before and every new client before you start to cut. Okay, I want to bring you now and introduce you to the client. Preparation of the client. Now we sterilise the equipment. This is going to be a conventional haircut. As you can see, the client has relatively strong hair with a medium texture, but there's lots of growth patterns that we need to consider, and these are what allows us to cut professionally and to attain the result we need to. On the first part we have a double crown here. We've actually got two double crowns, one here and one there. So that's something that we need to consider extremely carefully. At the bottom we have an inverted hairline there. So again, that's going to influence the way in which I get a strong line and a neat finish there on the back. The inverted hairline also means that we need to taper away the excessive weight there so we can generate a nice clean finish. On the side sections, the hair is quite plentiful here, so therefore in barbering at this particular part of the head we need to be looking at decreasing the volume so that it sits in neatly, tightly, and with a very sharp line there to show the masculine finish. Preparation of the client. As always, I always place a tissue around the hairline, around the this prevents hair from seeping down to the back of the shirt, and also for health and safety reasons and good practice it also helps to gain client comfort as well. So simply just tucking that in, and now going to proceed to gown him up. There's several ways in which people that will now prevent hair from slipping down the collar and down onto his back. People gown in a variety of ways, but that is possibly one of the most effective ways. Using a hydraulic chair, we can now position the head to where we need to start to gain detail. I'm going to damp the hair down. By damping the hair down, this allows me management and control. The client doesn't need to be given a bath, and he doesn't need to be shampooed before starting unless there's an extensive build-up of product. Carefully combing the hair through, this allows me to start to gain a picture of where and when I need to cut in order to gain a manageable finish both for myself and for the client. Checking for infection and infestation is also important as you're combing through the hair. Obviously if there's infestations, you can't continue with the service, and if there's infection you need to advise the client accordingly. So a good visual check of the scalp is really important as part of your preparation. The most commonly form of cutting is club cutting, which gives instant shape but generates volume. In barbering, we don't really want to have too much club cutting being completed, because what club cutting gives is volume. We need to decrease volume. This is where we use scissor over comb, keeping the comb moving all the time and positioned at 10 to 2. This will allow me to take away the weight, and as you can see down that panel where I've just been, it starts to create a neat, smooth finish. Moving around the head, there's my guide line, or my point where I've previously been. That is the hair which I will be removing. So again, consistently moving down the hair to take the weight away. This, by taking it in the reverse direction to where I have been, will allow me to cross-check it to ensure that the weight and the distribution of hair around the head sits uniformly, evenly. I would be in the salon roughly doing 3 to 4 heads of hair like this every hour. We charge £10.50 a cut, which in turn generates £44. As you start to see there, a shape is starting to be formed. Working on the same principle on the side section, again taking the weight out. Many people experience problems when working around the ears. Some apprentices have asked in the past, can they remove the ears? The answer is sadly no. Keeping the hair moist all the time allows me to gain control. Thereby holding the comb at 10 to 2 and keeping it moving constantly allows you to graduate evenly and effectively without generating any bumps, lumps, curves or steps. The hairline at the front is also a careful consideration. Pull the hairline down and working upwards, remove the surplus hair from there, or you can work downwards, whichever way you feel is effective. Pull the ear back, and that will allow me to get a nice, clean, neat line round there. Then comb the hair down, so nice clean finish. Position of your hands, position of your fingers, position of your comb and your scissors are really fundamental to the kind of finish that you're starting to create and complete. I haven't even used the clippers, yet I have a structured shape in place. If we look very carefully, that is the area which I have just cut. And as you can see here, on this side of the client's head, we have all volume. I will club cut this, not taper it, and I want to be able to show you and share the difference that you will see at the end of the task. To be successful in barbering, you must learn the art of scissor over comb, to be able to taper, blend and fade. So if you see, there's still too much volume there, which is why you need to be familiar using scissor over comb in order to remove the bulk. Same principle applies here, working attentively to the hairline, taking the weight away. The ear is a movable feast. Again, we have a very neat finish there. Now, there are people out there who are probably asking me, why go to all this trouble when you can simply use a clipper attachment and run the attachment up? Well, there's two things. Clipper attachments, if you use them on 1 to 8, will give you an overall length. Right the way across the head, you can run it from the nape of the neck to the forehead, and you can run it straight across. However, the problem is with clipper attachments, they do and can miss pieces of hair and make it quite straggly. They also give quite a coarse finish. You will generate a softer finish, a more masculine finish, and a more desirable outcome by learning to do it scissor over comb. So, having done the back and the sides and taken the weight out, we're now going to move to the top. On the top panel here, you can see the client here has a widow's peak. It grows over. That can cause immense problems, especially if you're trying to generate a straight fringe, or you're trying to allow the hair to lie flat. It can cause immense problems. But again, tapering it allows you to distribute the weight and take out the amount of hair that you need so that that doesn't become a barrier or an obstacle. I have to stress, if you get it wrong when you are cutting, you can leave your client with around 2 to 3 weeks of misery trying to get the hair to sit straight. So I want to share with you the art of tapering the top. So again, we can just allow ourselves to remove the amount of weight. The golden rule, I always say, keep the hair moist as you are working through it. Hair takes a very different shape from damp and wet to when it is dry. So again, you need to be evaluating and consistently revisiting where you have been. It gives me great pleasure to be able to share this with you. I've been barbering now for in excess of 20 years and also work in a salon. So again, I'm keeping myself commercially robust and also reliant with modern trends, continue to go on courses and again achieve real motivation from excelling my skills and demonstrating client care. I will club cut the top slightly because a little bit of volume is permissible on the top section there. Please remember to use your mirror. Revisiting your mirror on a regular basis is really, really important. Quite often when people are learning, they cut, and then at the end they consult the mirror. Your mirror is your main driver. You need to be constantly looking at your mirror and revisiting your mirror, gauging the client's eye contact as well, to ensure that the client expectations and outcome are fully met.